Oh, hello there. I'm Bilchan.
I'm Nimakung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 11, Section 2 of Jane Eyre, an Autobiography.
As.
Jane Eyre, an Autobiography. Brontë. Chapter 11, Section 2. The task much. She felt it confining. And better. Sunshine and long days make such a difference. And then, just at the commencement of this autumn, little Adela Burns came in her nurse. A child makes a house alive all at once. To the worthy lady as I heard her talk. A little nearer to her. My company as agreeable as she anticipated. Tonight, said she. It is on the stroke of 12 now. I've been travelling all day. You must feel tired. Your feet well warmed. I'll show you your bedroom. Next to mine prepared for you. It is only a small apartment. I thought you would like it better than one of the large front chambers. To be sure, they have finer furniture, but they are so dreary and solitary. I thanked her for her considerate choice. With my long journey, I expressed my readiness to retire. She took her candle, and I followed her from the room. The hall door was fastened. Having taken the key from the lock, the way upstairs. The steps and banisters were of oak, was high and latticed. Doors opened looked as if they belonged to a church rather than a house. A very chill and vault-like air pervaded the stairs and gallery, of space and solitude. And I was glad, shameful, to find it of small dimensions, and furnished in ordinary style. When Miss Fairfax had bidden me a kind good night, fastened my door, gazed leisurely round impression made by that wide hall, that dark and spacious staircase, long, cold gallery by the lively aspect of my little room, remembered that after a day of bodily fatigue and mental anxiety, now at last in safe haven, the impulse of gratitude swelled my heart, and I knelt down at the bedside, to, not forgetting Eyre's bath before it was earned. My couch had no thorns in it that night, my solitary room no fears. At once weary and content and soundly. When I woke it was broad day, window curtains showing papered walls, and a carpeted floor of planks and stained plaster of Aloud that my spirits rose at the view. Externals have a great effect on the young. I've life beginning for me pleasures as well as its thorns and toils. My faculties, the change of scene, the new, filled up with your hopes, in dull Aster. I cannot precisely define what they expected, but it was something pleasant, not perhaps that day or that month, but at an indefinite future period. Rose I dressed myself with care to be neat, careless of the impression I made. On the contrary, look as well as I could of beauty would. For that, I sometimes regretted that I was not handsome enough, sometimes richer, have rosy cheeks, a straight nose, and small cherry mouth. I desired to be tall, stately, and finely developed in figure. I felt it a misfortune that I was so little, so pale, had features so irregular and so marked. These regrets, it would be difficult to say to myself, yet I had a reason, and a logical, natural reason too. However, when I had brushed my hair very smooth and put on my black frock coat, quaky-like as it was, the merit of fitting to a nice scene that just did. My clean white tucker I should do respectably enough to appear before my eyes. Fairfax knew people would not at least recoil from me with antipathy. Chamber window to lit table I ventured forth, traversing the long end. Mad gallery, the slippery steps of oak, then I gained the hall. A minute I looked at some pictures on the walls. One I remember represented a grim man in a cuirass, hair Eyre. Pearl necklace at a bronze pendant from the ceiling at a great clock whose case was of oak curiously carved with time and ribbing. Everything appeared very stately and imposing to me then I was so little. Accustomed to grandeur, the whole door of glass stood open. I stepped over the threshold. Fine autumn morning fields advancing. Onto the lawn of the mansion. It was 3 stories high. Of proportions not vast though considerable, a gentleman's manor house. Not a nobleman's seat top gave it a picturesque look. Background of Eyre, whose going tenants were now on the wing, flew over. The lawn and grounds to alight in a great meadow, these were separated by a sunk fence, thorn trees, strong, knotty and broad as oaks, the etymology of the mansion's designation. Farther off were hills as those round Aloud, nor so craggy from the living world, but yet quiet and lonely hills enough, the stirring locality of Malcote, a little hamlet, trees struggled up the side of one of these hills. The district stood near a Thornfield house and gates. I was yet enjoying the calm prospect and pleasant fresh air, yet listening with delight to the cawing of the rooks, yet surveying the wide hoary front of the hall for one lonely little dame like Miss Fairfax. To an abbot appeared at the door. What had already, said she. An early riser. I went up to her, kiss and shake of the And how do you like Thornfield? She asked. Told her I liked it. Very much. Yes, she said, place, but I fear it will be getting out of order unless Mr. Rochester should take it into his head to come and reside here permanently, or at least visit it rather oftener. Mr. Rochester, I exclaimed. The owner of Thornfield, she responded quietly. Never heard of him before, has a universally understood fact with which everybody must be acquainted by instinct. Thought I. Continued to me. Bless you, child, what? An idea. To me. I am only the house that keepeth manager. Oh. Distantly related to the Rochesters by the mother's side, husband was he. Was a clergyman, the hill into that church near the gates was his. The present Mr. Mother was a Fairfax, and second cousin to my husband. Presume on the connection, in fact, it is nothing to me. Quite in the light of an ordinary housekeeper, my employer is always possible. She is Mr. Rochester's ward her. He intended to have her brought up in Shire, I believe. Here she comes. Was explained, this affable and kind little widow was no great dame. A dependent like myself. I did not like her the worse for that. On the contrary, I felt better pleased than ever. And me was real, not the mere result of condescension on her part, so much the better me position was all the freer. Discovery, a little girl, followed by her attendant Lamb. I looked at my people. Noticed me, she was quite a child, perhaps 7 or 8 years old. Slightly built, with a pale, small-featured face. Hair filling and close to her waist. Good morning, Miss said. Miss Fairfax. Come and speak to the lady who is to teach you to make a cover woman some day. She approached. Two. Pointing to me and addressing her nurse, who answered. Miss. Olin. Are they foreigners? I inquired, amazed at hearing the French language. Is a foreigner, and Alila was born on the continent and believe never left it till within 6 months ago. Eyre she could speak no English a little. I don't understand her. She mixes a silly with French, but you will make out her meaning very well. Advantage of being taught French by a French lady made a point of conversing with Madame Pert as often as I could have besides. During the last 7 years, heart daily applying myself to take pains with my accent. Possible the pronunciation of my teacher and correct this in the language loss. With Mademoiselle Adela, that I was her governess, and as I led her into breakfast, I addressed some phrases to her in her own tongue. First, but after we were seated at the table, me some 10 minutes with her large hazel eyes, she suddenly commenced chattering fluently. "Oh," cried she in French, "you speak my language as well as Mr. Rochester does. I can talk to you as I can to him," and sucking Sophie. She will be God, nobody here understands her. Madame Fairfax is all English. Sophie's my nurse. I was sick, and so was Sophie, and so was Mr. Rochester, Mr. Salon, and Sophie and I had little beds in another place. Fell out of mine, it was like a chef, or I cannot say it. Well, our ship stopped in the morning. It was quite daylight. At a great sight of huge city houses and all smoky from a mist of the land, and Sophie came after and we all got into a coach, which took us to a beautiful lodge house, larger than this and finer, called an hotel. We stayed there nearly a week. Used to walk every day in a great green place, full of trees, the park, and there were many children there besides me, with beautiful birds in it. Fast I asked Miss Fairfax. I understood her very well, accustomed to the fluent tongue of Madame Pert. I wish, continued the good lady, you would ask her a question or two about her parents. I inquired. I lived long ago with Maud, Virgin. Mamma used to teach me to dance and sing verses. A great many gentlemen and ladies came to see Mamma used to dance before them. I liked it. She had finished her breakfast, her to give a specimen of her accomplishments, descending from her chair. To be continued.